Before learning any new technology, I find it quite interesting to know the story behind it. And the story of Kubernetes starts in 2003 at Google. In 2003, Google started migrating their workloads to containers. Imagine this. The world started talking about Linux containers and containers in general in 2013 when Docker came into being. By then, Google had an experience of running their entire production systems on containers for 10 years. Now, in 2003, Google had two types of workloads. One were the batch jobs, second were the long running process. Typically, whatever we use from Google publicly, like search and YouTube and Gmails and stuff, that is typically a long running processes. And then you have behind the scenes crawling happening, and then analytics and indexing process. Those are run typically as batch jobs, typically using MapReduce and so on. Now, Google were using two different types of machines in their data centers for running these two different types of jobs, which was a sort of a not optimal way of utilizing resources. And they found a solution to optimize resource utilization, increase resource utilization, and achieve lower costs by using the technology which existed in Linux for a while, that was namespaces. The initial Linux containers were nothing but just a file system namespaces enabled by a technology called as chroot. Now, Google started contributing to the Linux containers, and they added the features for resource isolation. And what we see as Linux containers today, much of it is contributed by Google actually. And that led to LXC, and LXC had an offshoot which is now Docker. So when in 2003 Google started migrating their workloads to containers, they needed a system to manage these containers, and that too at the Google scale. So they designed a system and named it as Borg. Borg was their unified container management platform. And 2013, there were a lot of features added to Borg as more and more projects from Google started moving to it. Borg also had certain problems since it evolved in an ad hoc fashion. There were a lot of different configuration languages being used, and it was also a monolithic system, difficult to scale. So Google also created another container orchestration, mainly a scalable scheduler system called as Omega, and they incorporated it sometime between 2003 and 2013. Let's now fast forward to 2013. In 2013, Docker was just released, and it was getting really popular. It was a very cool tool for development, setting up, creating these disposable development environments. And it was much faster than the virtual machines to create, to set up. And Docker started offering the ecosystem, the set of tools to make things easy to use these Linux containers and speed up your development. Now, a lot of people started using Docker really, but they quickly realized that this is a great tool for development, but what next? If you wanted to take those images built with Docker and run it at scale, you still needed some critical orchestration pieces. Mainly, to start with, you needed a scheduler, because how do you decide which containers run on which machines? You might have hundreds of machines, and you needed a scheduler to make those decisions automatically and intelligently for you. And then there were many other features needed to run those applications at scale, in a production scale, and then do it in a reliable way. Features such as networking the containers, because if you run two different containers on two different hosts, how do you connect those? And then some of the interesting features that you would need would be scaling, auto scaling, maybe replication, service discovery, load balancing, and so on. So this problem needed to be solved, and that's when three engineers from Google in 2013 started looking into how to solve this problem. And by then, Google had an experience of running the containers at production scale using their system called as Borg, which was their internal proprietary system. So they started working on a project which would turn out to be the open source version of the Borg. So they took all the learnings from building the systems such as Borg and Omega, and they started incorporating those features into an open source container orchestration engine. When they started this project, they called it as 7 of 9. Just like how Borg came from a character in Star Trek, 7 of 9 was a friendlier version of Borg in the Star Trek. So they started this project to be the friendlier version of their internal orchestration engine. And they did a great job at building a minimalistic container orchestration engine. And when they announced it to the world in 2014, they called it as Project Kubernetes. And that's how Kubernetes was born. The first version of Kubernetes to be released was in 2015. And since then, it has been one of the most popular and one of the most contributed project on GitHub. Today, Google does not own Kubernetes. When they released it, the first version of it, they announced a formation of CNCF, which is Cloud Native Compute Foundation, which is a body of Linux Foundation now, and it's a vendor neutral organization which drives the decisions in Kubernetes. There are still a lot of contributors from Google and many other companies, but it is not owned by Google anymore. It's the CNCF project today. And CNCF is the one who also drives the decisions and the certification in the world of Kubernetes. And yes, the 7 spokes that you see in the Kubernetes logo came from the project 7 of 9.